Hello everyone and welcome back to another part of my F1 23 My Team Career Mode. Episode number 9 today, I believe, for the Belgian Grand Prix, a sprint race as well. If you do remember last time out, at Silverstone, we came away with a shock pole position in our home Grand Prix, hopefully going for the win, we would hope. But unfortunately for us, lean mode, our team putting us into lean mode, a fuel saving mode, meant we lost 5 positions in a single straight, a lot less power, and it didn't help that our team then messed up our pit stop as well on top of that. So through that, we ended up coming out the pits around P5, and that is where we finished. A lot of tyre wear. P5 finished from pole position. It could have been a win. We were leading up until that lean mode, but we just couldn't catch up after it. So that's where we are now. P5 for us. Drugovich, that odd glitch at the end where he just DSQ'd. I don't think he DNF'd because he definitely didn't DNF. That's wrong because he did finish the race. I'm pretty sure, but he just dropped down to 21st. So Drugovich, I'll allow that one. Sainz also DNF'd after a very odd lap 1 incident. I have no idea why, but hopefully I'll be able to find out. Maybe you guys could help me and comment down below what you think could have caused that odd lap 1 incident for Sainz, or Drugovich's interesting DNF right at the end of the race. Aerodynamics department events, I do need the money at the moment, so I'm going to go with a medium cost, because I don't particularly want to go low cost. That might actually negatively affect the team, but high cost would just be a bit too much. So we're going to go with medium cost. Only 20k, but that is quite a lot in the grand scheme of things. Sprint race this weekend in Spa. I am very excited for it. One of many people's favourite tracks in general. And now I'm thinking about buying another spec on the aerodynamics or the powertrain just to get a bit more resource points or something, because it would be really, really helpful. Another aerodynamics department event, and sorry mate, but I don't particularly want to lose 50k just to get a bit more team acclaim. So we're going to decline that as well. Hopefully our spark plug succeeds. It does. I believe that was an ERS upgrade. And then we have a major weight reduction coming up next, which is key. Some resource points to spend. We've got 1,751, and it's got to be the tyre wear. It's got to be. Our chassis is still pretty bad, and we could do with just a major reset in the tyre wear. You saw how much tyre wear was affecting us last race weekend. Hopefully with this upgrade of the chassis, we'll be able to bring it in. And fails. No, that upgrade was so important. I don't think we can repurchase it, but we are going to buy a fabrication on the aerodynamics, which means we'll be able to do two upgrades simultaneously, and it's going to cost us 700 resource points for us to redo that upgrade on the chassis. And we are going to take some new engines as well for Spa. I definitely do not want. We're going to take a complete penalty. Spa's a very nice overtaking track, and we can still possibly score some points for the weekend, because we're going to have to take penalties anyway. And because it's a sprint, we'll still be able to score points, because we just have so much wear. So we are going to take all these penalties, and we're going to be starting from the back of the grid for the main race. So a comeback drive as well then for us. It's going to be very interesting indeed. But now, let's head to the race weekend and check out the development updates. We brought in 2 minor upgrades, and our major one failed. And Lewis Hamilton is retiring at the end of this season. The 7-time world champion is leaving Formula 1. That's a real shame. I mean, Lewis, one of the greats of the sport, is going to be very, very we're going to miss F1's going to miss him, I'm sure. first lap. Then in Q1, it was a wet qualifying session. A wet Q1, Q2, and Q3 does seem to dry out. So that's going to be interesting. We've set our car up for the dry. Green first sector, green second sector. So 1:55.6, and that is top of the timing sheets provisionally, and then P4 by the end of the session. Felipe Drugovich, has he made it through? No, he's been knocked out by Daniel Ricciardo. Almost making it through. Maybe next race, Felipe, but that's a pretty solid qualifying result.
I mean, it's all right. Like,
I reckon for him, considering his last performances. P17 just not making it through into Q2. That's really unfortunate. Well, we're going to go again. The track is drying. Lando Norris sets a 1:53.9. We set a 1:56.0. So slower than our Q1 time on a drier track. That's not ideal. But so we are going to have to go again. 2 seconds gained then on our second flying lap. A huge amount of time. As you can see, we're P16 at the moment. We really need this time to count. Go a bit wide there. Not ideal. We do lose a bit of time. But in these last 2 corners, hopefully we can make it back up to the line. 2.4 seconds gained. Are we through into Q3? I think we should be. And yes, P3 quite comfortably through. That's absolutely fine by me. And that is how the session ends for us. Sergio Perez out in the Red Bull. I don't think he went out for a second lap, and that has cost him dearly. A 1:54.6 for him. Not enough for him to go through. Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, both Alpines, and the big gun of Sergio Perez out in Q2, with Max Verstappen topping the session. And as you can see now, we're going for our first lap in Q3 on a completely dry track. I don't know what happened between Q2 and Q3, but it's completely dry. And we're going to go again for 2 laps. But as you can see, it seems to be raining, just like very slightly, but still the track seems drier than it was before. This is going to be a very odd session. We're P10 at the moment because everyone else has found time on the drying track, but it is raining. I have no idea why. But this lap is going to need to count. We've gone purple in the first sector, but the first sector is mostly engine power, which we do have the best of. So hopefully we can just set a good lap here and shoot us up the grid order. 6/10 gained so far going into Puon, I believe this is. I'm not sure. I think it's Puon. But 9/10 gained by the time I finish that sentence. We go wide though. We go wide, and that could cost us our lap. We've lost about a 1/10 there, I believe, and then we go deep. So this lap looked promising, but it's just not been it. I'll be completely honest. It's just not been the best lap. But we still are a second up. Hopefully, we can still aim for maybe a top 5. But we are 1.3 seconds down on Lance Stroll. This could be a flat rock bottom P10. We haven't gained any time since Sector 1, really. And it's evident that we are just not enjoying this drying track. A 1:44.0 is Lance Stroll's time to beat. Up to the line, what's it going to be? 1.5 seconds gained. Can we get anywhere near the front of the field? No. Well, that was fun. P10 for us after a very solid Q1 and Q2, a bit underwhelming. But we are going to be starting from P10 for the sprint and then back of the grid for the race. So hopefully we can make up a lot of time for the race, a lot of places in the sprint. 1 second off the pace for us though. That's just not ideal. I understand how Felipe Drugovich feels now. But Max Verstappen, pole position by 0.5 of a second, followed by George Russell in the Mercedes. It's a Ferrari 3-4, followed by Lando Norris in P5, Lance Stroll P6, out-qualifying his teammate Fernando Alonso, who starts P9, Oscar Piastri in P7, I believe. And now a bit of R&D to do, because obviously it was the qualifying then quick practice 2, which we are now going to do. I feel like a front downforce upgrade would be nice for Monza, but it's got to be this chassis upgrade, which we get guaranteed for Monza. So that's going to be a nice weight reduction and maybe an engine power, because we all know how heavy Monza is on the engine, but not enough R&D for engine power. We could do fuel efficiency, not really any point. I see not really much we can do with this 767 R&D points. So I'm just going to stick with a minor front downforce upgrade, I think. 750 resource points, barely increase our aero, but it all counts. But now let's head to the sprint for the Belgian Grand Prix. Sorry about the audio for the start of the race. That is quite poor. I'll be completely honest. I've done the music way too loud. We're going to be doing softs for the sprint. Everyone else pretty much on the softs. Sonoda on the mediums. 3 runners on the mediums. 5 runners on the mediums. The back markers all got 6 runners on the mediums. But sorry about the audio. I think I'll have it fixed for the race. I've done that completely wrong. And hopefully in future I will sort that out. Starting the formation lap then. Majority of the grid on softs. It's going to be interesting to see how the mediums perform for the race, because I believe the tyre wear is quite high here around Spa. I believe 5 laps is about the limit of what the soft tyres will do. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out come the end of the sprint. Lining up to the grid. Quite an aggressive park. 0.3, that will do. Alonso, our rival alongside us. It's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out going into turn 1. It's Russell versus Verstappen on the front row. 5 red lights. Here we go then for the sprint here in Spa. It's lights out and away we go. We get a good start. Alonso not the best. It's all higgledy-piggledy towards turn 1. Russell's had a shocking start from P2 up down into P5. And now we go down the inside of Oscar Piastri, who's also had a fast start from P7. Lando Norris P5 ahead of us, and we're going wheel to wheel with Piastri up through Eau Rouge. No, can't quite do it. But maybe with a good exit, we could gain on Piastri and go for the move on him into the end, onto Radillon, into the end of Sector 1. Gaining on Piastri. We also have to be a bit wary of George Russell, who's gaining us. Do we go for the move down the inside? We do make the lunge on Piastri and almost spin it there. But Piastri does keep the position, which is fair enough because we did make contact with him. And now we've got our George Russell behind us. The man who started on the front row already wants to remake our positions. We go a bit wide. Russell wants to go down our inside. He'll now have to go round the outside, and we are not having any of that. Fernando Alonso now overtakes him up into P7. Mercedes not having the best of starts. They're down into P8 and 9, I believe, with Lance Stroll in P10. He did so well in qualifying. But here comes Fernando Alonso down the inside into the chicane, going round our outside. Great move by the Spaniard up into P6. So hopefully now we'll just be able to cling on to his DRS. He is still in a faster car, and when the DRS gets enabled, but we don't want DRS enabled. We go a bit on the grass there, finding the steering a bit struggling in dirty air. Can we go for the move around the outside of Fernando Alonso? Yes, we can. Up into P6, that is. But I'm sure Alonso will want to come back at us, and he does again at the chicane, trying to go round our outside. He loves that overtaking place, and then Russell sent it round the outside of him up into P6. He wants it. Great move by Russell. We're going to try and make it 3 wide, but Alonso already got him, and we go back down the inside of Russell. So an opportunistic move from Russell then, but we do hang on to that position. But we do lose to Alonso, but we hang on to the one on Russell, and Russell almost pulled out an absolute stonking move. And now lap 3 of the sprint. It's been a very fast sprint. We're going for the move on Alonso. Pretty simple overtake with DRS. But Alonso, I'm sure, will come back at us in Sector 2 in the lap. The AI seem to be strong around there, while I am stronger in Sector 1, which is where I'm ahead. And as you can see, once again, Alonso just harrying us a bit, and we go deep. And he's going to go for the move on the outside. No way he pulls that off. He's Fernando Alonso. Why am I even questioning it? Of course he'll pull it off. Round the outside, though, we do keep the position, but we go off track. And that hampers our exit. And Alonso could gain on us right all the way down the straight. He's got a slipstream to catch. And then now, surely he will overtake us. And lap 4, he did close so much in DRS. He wants to go for the move on the inside. We're going to have to go very wide. And Alonso does send it on the inside. Can we try and keep it, though? Just like we did on Russell. Copycat defensive move. And we do keep the position. And once again, just like on Russell, the man in 8th has overtaken the person who got shoved wide and is up into P7. But now Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton, the man who's retiring, who just overtook Alonso, also wants to overtake us as well. And up into P6. Fair play. A little mistake by us. That is not very welcome. Alonso now wants to shoot it round the outside again of us. But we're having absolutely none of that, and already 1 second behind Hamilton. But we have got this whole straight to just gain back on him. We have got the best engine on the grid. And through Rouge we go on the last lap of the race. This is where it's key to overtake. With DRS, with ERS, gaining on Hamilton in the slipstream, going for the move on the inside. Pretty textbook overtake for us then. Quite a simple move. We've let Piastri to completely go up ahead on this last lap. The tyres, though, are beginning to struggle. About 40% worn, maybe even going closer to the 50s. But that's going to be very interesting. But that's how it stays for the end of the race. P6 for us in the sprint, but it doesn't matter because we'll be starting at the back of the grid for the main race. We finish ahead of Hamilton, Russell, and Fernando Alonso. A decent drive from us, I would say, from P10. And driver of the day, thank you very much, everyone who voted for me. Let's see who won the race. I believe it was Max Verstappen who did win the race. Yes, Verstappen from Sainz from Leclerc, who Ferrari finally gained positions from a 3-4 to a 2-3. Both overtook Russell. Lando Norris P4, Oscar Piastri P5. Very solid weekend for McLaren. Lewis Hamilton, George Russell 7 and 8. Fernando Alonso finishes where he started in P9. Lance Stroll picks up P10. Perez unable to gain in P11. So that's a bit worrying for him. Carlos Sainz is still behind us in the standings, by the way. Ever since Bahrain, he's been behind us. I think he overtook us briefly, but since his DNF in Silverstone, and we still picked up some points, we overtook him. So Sainz not doing the best. Drogovic loses a position in P18. He lost it to Alex Albon, I believe. So maybe we just need to wait. But now let's head to the race.
to this visit to the Ardennes countryside. Spa-Francorchamps hosted its first Grand Prix back in 1925, and this historic track is loved by drivers and fans alike, and us here in the commentary box too. So it's a warm welcome from the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Perez, Gasly, Tsunoda, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Drogovic, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Joe, Ocon, and Dyson. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here. I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. We'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Hope the audio was better this time. I'm a bit sorry for the sprint. And yes, as you can see, the soft tyres. The default strategy is soft mediums, but the tyre works exceptionally high, just like it was in Spain. So I'm going to do, just like in Spain, hopefully a 300 IQ play, a medium hards. Everyone else around us, I believe, is on the soft tyres. We'll check that in a minute. But let's start the formation lap 22 base grid penalty for our component change. Starting right at the back of the field. Yeah, as you can see, everyone ahead of us. Joe Guanyu also going for the mediums. We'll see those front runners now. All on the soft, a couple on the hards, both Mercedes on the hards and Lance Stroll, but the majority all on the softs, which they got saved from the wet quali. And well, Drogovic also on the medium, so glad to see the team are giving him the right strategy as well. Felipe, you've got no excuses here, mate. This is where you need to perform. You get a bit of anti-stall off the start formation lap start. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the real race, but hopefully from the back of the grid we'll be able to clear these soft runners early and quickly so we can move on to the faster cars, which I do believe we have the pace to go to fight, as you saw from in the sprint. And oh my gosh, I don't believe it. We have an AlphaTauri just going around, trundling around. Daniel Ricciardo starting the formation lap now. He's gone round for another lap.
What is he doing?
What? Daniel Ricciardo has gone for another formation lap. So we're going to have to just sit here and wait for it. Our die's going to be so cold. He's going through Eau Rouge now. Oh my days. What is going on here, lads? We're just going to have to sit here and wait for Daniel Ricciardo to join up the grid. I'm just going to be here so long because Ricciardo, this is the longest circuit on the F1 calendar. As you can see, ahead of Sargent, there's a place missing where Ricciardo should be. I have no idea what he's done. I think he's just gone round for another lap. I don't think I didn't see him just like stopped. Everyone else is being reset their parking spot because we're sitting here for so long. As you saw, Ocon went backwards. He's now way behind his designated area. And now here, the F123 decides that we might as well just get on with the race. We'll just teleport Ricciardo straight in, and start the race because, it's just a bit pointless waiting here for Ricciardo with cold tyres. So we're just going to teleport him right here in 3, 2, 1, Ricciardo is now at the front where he should be. Here we go then, 5 red lights after that very odd formation lap here in Spa-Francorchamps. It's lights out and away we go. We immediately dart to the inside to try and get go down the inside, but then Ocon blocks us going into turn 1. Can we still dive down the inside of him? Going for the move on him on the inside. Can we keep it? It's 3 wide actually with Magnussen as well. Through Eau Rouge we go. Up to Eau Rouge, sorry. Going for the move, Magnussen gets ahead, but can we now keep the position on Ocon side by side through Eau Rouge? No, Ocon just keeps the position, but maybe can we now, with a bit of ERS, bit of slipstream, go for the move back on Ocon? Not the best of starts, but up ahead, Max Verstappen still leads the race from the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, I believe that is, but cutting back to us.
What?
Still are in the last place.
Bro, what are you
And
talking about,
actually
man?
lost DRS briefly, but we gained so much in that corner, and I sensed an opportunity to go down the inside of Logan Sargent, which I did there. Sorry for cutting it off. We also then followed that up with an overtake on Ocon. And now going for the move on Zhou Guanyu. I didn't see the move on Ocon was pretty textbook. It was a bit boring. I didn't bother really to show it. But that move on Sargent, as you saw, we just slipped down the inside of him. And up into P21 now, then P20 on Ocon, and now P19 on Zhou, and now K-Mag. We need to clear these cars as fast as possible. We haven't really been able to do it. We've just been picking off about 1 a lap, which is not the progress we need to be making if we want to be getting, let alone points, maybe even a top 5 finish. Is that too much to ask as we go down the inside of Kevin Magnussen up into P18? And now, hopefully, we'll be able to get Nico Hülkenberg with DRS in Radion up onto the Kemmel Straight. Through Eau Rouge we go then. Can we get a better exit than Nico Hülkenberg, which we do a much better exit now with Slipstream and DRS. Can we go for the move on the inside maybe of Nico Hülkenberg up into P17? Thank you very much. He fights us a bit, but we do stay ahead of him, and now it's our teammate Felipe Drugovich. And hopefully we'll be able to go. He will let us through without much of a fight. Go down the inside of him into this braking into turn 1, which we do. Take it very aggressively, the curb, but thanks Felipe for not fighting us. And now we are up into P16, and Daniel Ricciardo, the next man who is on the list, and we're going to go once again for the move into turn 1. We love that overtakes position so much, and now through Eau Rouge we love getting the second overtake here on Alexander Albon, as you're about to see. Up we go. The ERS used, DRS and active, gaining on Albon. He goes defensive to the inside. Are we going to go for the move on the outside of Alexander Albon? Yes, we are. Right round the outside and up into P14. 4 positions away from points, and now Valtteri Bottas and Yuki Tsunoda, the 2 people ahead of us. And Bottas and Tsunoda going for the move. Tsunoda locks up. Can we try and sneak down the inside of Bottas? We have to go into neutral gear to stop there, because I did not expect Tsunoda to lock up and hamper Bottas, but now it has hampered him. Going for the move on Valtteri Bottas on the outside of turn 1. He tries to go for the move on Tsunoda. Fair play for him. As now through Eau Rouge we go. Up to Eau Rouge. I keep calling this Eau Rouge. My apologies. Can we go for the move on Valtteri Bottas and maybe Yuki Tsunoda as well? Thank you very much. What a move. I don't think we gave damage. We're going to have to watch that again. Going for the move on Bottas and just smashed it through Eau Rouge on Tsunoda as well. And now people have pit, and we are now up into P5 following the pit stops. We haven't pit yet though. A lot of people behind us have on the soft tyres, including Verstappen, who is 6 seconds behind us. So we're definitely not going for the win then. As you can see, our pit stop window is active, and I believe we'll be pitting this lap. But you can see the tyre wear difference up ahead. Gasly still isn't pit, and we overtook him so easily. And now Perez ahead, 2.8 seconds it was. And now we closed it to about 1.6 seconds by the end of the lap. As you can see, barely ahead of us. But now coming in for our pit stop, we need this to be a good pit stop team. Come on. I know you can do it, lads. I believe in you. We need a sub 3 second stop or I will cry. Please, guys, do not do the same in Silverstone. We need a good pit stop here, and our team delivers. Thank you very much. That's a good stop, team. So clear coming out the pits then, P11 and ahead, and now a second ahead of Gasly, so he will not have DRS. He did manage to hang within DRS, but he will surely gain on us on those medium tyres a bit, surely, as we are on the hards. And when these hards fire up, they sure do fire up well. On going on to lap 13, purple in the final sector, and now within DRS of Sergio Perez. I'm loving these hards right now. My favourite race tyre so far, it seems, of the series. In Spain they worked for us, in Spa they're working for us. Maybe I should go on the hards more often, as now we do have the DRS to Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso. Perez going for the move on Alonso, so we basically negated that whole sprint in about 13 laps from the back of the grid.
I can
As now
smell the
Perez,
failure.
his engine's blown up. Sergio Perez, his engine has blown up right in front of our face. We're going to have to go round the outside, but that's the second time that's happened to it, and it's always been a Red Bull of Sergio Perez. First it was Verstappen in Australia in the RTG, but now it's the Red Bull of Sergio Perez. So end of lap 13, we're up into the points. Perez is out the race. Not ideal for him. We're going to make a beautiful switchback move on Fernando Alonso there. Cut it tight to the line, going wheel to wheel with the Spaniard into turn 1. How is this going to play out? Break a lot later. Piastri almost going to the back of Piastri, but we managed to do it round the outside. And now up into P9. But now can we go for the move on Oscar Piastri, gaining on him, much quicker throw rouge, as you can see. Our tyres now definitely the better race tyre. Their tyre are beginning to cut in. Piastri goes for the move.
That's fine. I'll get you on the grass.
We go onto the grass and overtake both Leclerc. And now can we get Piastri as well round the outside? Yes, we can. Thank you very, very much, lads. As most appreciated. And P7 is going to be for us. We close the gap on Lance Stroll by about 2 seconds coming up to the line. But it is not enough to get P6. P7 though, from last to P7, I will absolutely take that. These hard tyres are a great race tyre, I'll be completely honest. Really enjoyed driving on them. Maybe we should use them in the future, maybe in Monza. I'm not sure what the tyre is like in Monza. I think it's quite a tyre light circuit, but we'll see.
Anthony Davidson, how could deliver this result?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some more hectic parts of the race, and able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come today's winners. The team of Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's great to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they secured here. So let's review the updated driver standings. Max Verstappen should be
P6 for us then overall in the weekend. That was very decent indeed from last. As I've already mentioned, Fernando ahead of our team rival in both the sprint and the race, despite starting behind him in both of them. So our race pace really decided to show up here in Spa. Felipe Drugovich, P19. Unfortunately, he was P16 when we overtook him. It looks like the strategy didn't work out the best for him at all. Perez DNF right in front of us as well as Tsunoda, 20 seconds off the pace. But it's Max Verstappen who is now leading the championship by even more than before. So it's not going to be good for the ones who want to catch up to him. Just like in real life, Verstappen dominating the race. Says despite a little resurgence from Mercedes with back-to-back wins with Russell and Hamilton. We'll check now, and yeah, 83 points is the gap between Verstappen and Lando Norris, who is now P2. Leclerc P3. Mercedes take up 4th and 5th. That's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And there we go then. The season break coming up for Monza. That's going to be interesting. So I hope we can get some upgrades in before then, but we don't have the R&D to do that, unfortunately. We have got 1.33 million, so maybe we will be able to. But guys, if you have enjoyed this video, do make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out so much. And I'll see you guys next time for the Monza Grand Prix. The shortest race on the calendar in terms of time. Only 19 laps, I believe, in this 35% distance race. But I'll see you guys then for a fast, furious Italian Grand Prix. Until then, goodbye.